What is up, guys? It is Hot Take Without the Hot Take here, and I'm starting a new series called Junior and Senior Two Views. I am with my dad, who knows quite a bit about sport. We always argue about sport, so we thought, why not put it on YouTube? So say hi.
Hi everybody, this is Senior here. Just looking forward to spending a little time with my son Junior. We'll have these great spirited talks, so it's always important to have those points of view. I know a little bit about sports, but we can share those views together, and we're going to have a real good discussion starting right now.
Yep, our first topic is a sad one, obviously, as you guys will know. Probably one of the greatest to ever lace up on a basketball court, Kobe Bryant, passed away at the age of 41 in a helicopter crash, among 7 others, including his daughter, Gianna. What are your thoughts on this?
Look, it was certainly tragic when you told me, because I didn't know anything about it until you told me when it happened. Of course, we're here in Australia, so it happened, news came through on a Sunday, but it actually happened on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning.
Yes, so it's tragic. It's one of those things that, as a basketball fan, and those of you who will know about me more as we go along, I'm a Knicks fan, unfortunately, but knowing that, Kobe was a fierce competitor, I had, the pleasure of watching him over the years take the Lakers to, those 5 championships. And certainly he's definitely a most beloved, iconic figure in LA. So it's going to be
He's transcended sports. He's not just basketball. This goes beyond basketball. He finessed his way into an Oscar as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and, he's got that kind of pedigree that, he was just starting to go on to his second act, so to speak, his next chapter. And, it wasn't just about basketball. You didn't hear too much about, Kobe sort of inserting himself into, endorsements and such. He didn't need that. Obviously, his daughter, tragedy that she died with him, she was definitely one of those, up-and-coming players. And having that sort of, pedigree of your father behind you, really made a difference. So, it's tragic. I think there's a lot of people still mourning. I have a good friend in LA, and he's from New York, and he's become an LA Laker fan, and got there pretty much around Kobe's, let's say, 3rd season. Yeah. So he watched Kobe over the years, and of course Kobe winning that last title in 2010 with the Lakers. It's sad news, and I think that a lot of fans and players alike are still feeling it.
Especially, and obviously, as he has passed, we look at his legacy, the good and the bad, as well as with the whole Colorado situation. But I don't think anything can take away from Kobe Bryant's legacy. Not even something as egregious as a rape trial, but nothing can take away from his legacy. He was a genius on the court, like Maradona. He was a cocaine addict, and he's still seen as one of the greatest to ever step foot on a football pitch. So I don't think anything will take away from Kobe Bryant's legacy, no matter what anyone says about him.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say the same thing. I'd agree with that. I think those charges of whatever happened that time in Colorado is something that people forgot about. I'm sure it was something that was embarrassing for Kobe himself. We'll never. I don't think. Look, at the time when it was happening, I think it happened, and I think people moved on from it. He was getting his life back together, so he really put himself together and did things well. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely tragic when you hear about Gianna, because I was looking at a lot of celebrities who spoke about Gianna. One of them being Australian women's center Liz Cambage, who said she had real potential at the WNBA level. And Liz Cambage, that's one of the players when you get praise from her as a women's basketball player, you've made it.
I think it was also a smart move by the Lakers to postpone that game against the Clippers. I think that, there was so many people there.
And there was a lot of changes in the All-Star weekend to honor Kobe as well. So.
Absolutely, but I think the fact of the matter was, Staples Center has become a memorial now, so
that's his house.
It was time. So it was time for them to.
And the Grammys did a lot as well.
Yeah, they did. So there's been a lot of tributes for him. So
because he's an icon of the world, not just sports.
Yeah.
Of the world, I'd say.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on to our second topic, a more lighthearted one. This one is the NBA Trade Deadline, which is coming up soon. In just over a month, we have some big pieces on the trading block. Who is on the trading block?
Well, we do know this, and this is only from the internet and watching the internet for what it is. Certainly, Andre Drummond's definitely the first piece of that puzzle. You look at Detroit, you look at what they're up to. Really, this is a sort of a bust year for Detroit. I think there was probably a lot of promise because of Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond being that 1-2 punch. Blake Griffin's injury is horrific.
And Derrick Rose as well.
Well, yeah,
having a decent season.
Well, don't be surprised. Derrick Rose will be the other piece moving on as well.
Yeah.
Because I think for Detroit, they've tried to put pieces together, and the draft over the years hasn't worked out.
Hasn't worked.
Not at all. And now you got a situation where Blake Griffin, who knows what he's going to come back to. This is another knee surgery. The same knee he had problems with last year.
Yeah.
Remember, Detroit made the playoffs, just barely.
Yeah.
And they struggled.
And they got swept by Milwaukee.
And they struggled with him playing. And his knee was a big problem. So.
And especially since he's become a deadly outside shooter, which is unfortunate because that part of his game in the earlier stages of his career was something to be desired.
Right.
But now that he's reaching, how old is he now? About 30 something?
He's almost in his early 30s.
Yeah,
so I'd say that
he's pushing 30.
He's pushing 30. So, look, I think right now Andre Drummond's a coveted piece. The NBA will say the big man's, a lost art, but you need that space
classic
in the middle.
Big man.
If you're gonna make some noise in the East, and look, I think, by all accounts, if you look at the Eastern teams, maybe Detroit trades Drummond to a team that's contending in the East.
I think Drummond will probably end up going to a team that needs a quality big man. So someone like the Celtics need a good big man. Like Enes Kanter has been regressing.
Mm-hmm.
Taco Fall hasn't played a game for them
he's in
the
G League
league
now anyway.
He hasn't played a game for them in the league so far.
Right.
So I think they need a quality big man before Taco Fall gets his chance.
Okay.
And I think Andre Drummond would be that shot. But what would they have to give up? Because they wanted Anthony Davis or someone like Boogie in the offseason, and what really kept them from getting those guys was what would they have to give up for them.
Okay, good point. I think the big thing is where Drummond goes. My thoughts are the Eastern teams. I'm not sure. Maybe the Celtics. I'd say as far as big man needs go, if you look at the top 5 teams right now in the NBA, I would say he should go to a team in the East. But then again, anything's possible. I think right now that if you're Detroit, you're looking at what can you get for Drummond. Maybe not necessarily players now. Maybe
possibly.
Maybe it's all about just getting draft picks for the future and now.
But then again, you want at least a quality player if you're trading away a quality big man like Drummond.
If you're Detroit, what's Detroit's current record? It's not that great.
Right now, they're in punting, essentially.
Right. So if you're Detroit, are you looking to make a playoff push or just looking to stockpile some draft picks for the future? So there's a lot of teams
right now they're in limbo.
Right.
Essentially,
I'd say there's a lot of teams right now
that are in that stage.
Who are tapping out.
Like people like the Spurs who are in limbo right now. They're content. They want to contend, but anyway, moving on from that.
So Derrick Rose is another piece.
Yeah.
And he's on the Pistons. I say he goes to and look, there's been murmurs about the Lakers. I'm not sure. I mean, look, that way again, Derrick Rose, phenomenal. Look, people say comeback. I kind of think of LL Cool J. Mama said knock you out. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Yeah.
So Derrick Rose, Derrick Rose has, been around. He played on the Knicks. He played with the T-Wolves. Now he's playing with the Pistons. So he's been playing pretty regularly and no injuries.
He's been playing regularly, but he got injured on the Cavs. He got injured on the Knicks again.
Fair enough, but I think that the fact that he could be that guy off the bench.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose is not going to be that starter
This
anymore.
is his first healthy season in a while. In a long while. This is his first healthy season.
Okay, so moving on. The next piece we got to talk about is Kevin Love.
Kevin Love is the big
definitely
fish.
Moving.
100% gone. If you saw his meltdown on the court, a man like Kevin Love, who is most of the time mild-mannered, you don't see that from him a lot. So you can tell he is frustrated with the Cavs at the moment and Dan Gilbert.
A few things with this. The Cavaliers hired John Beilein.
Yeah.
John Beilein's a grandpa in a millennial world.
Yeah.
He is not the right coach. I'm not sure if that was the right choice.
Yeah.
But really, a guy who's in the 60s. Yes, he comes from U of M. Yes, he dealt with college kids, but college kids move on.
Yeah.
College basketball coaches, they get paid good money, like Calipari. But like for example, off the beaten track with Kentucky, those players are so good they don't stick around long enough anyway to drive into the grave.
And so most players in NCAA now do one and done.
Right. So what you have is a very old coach and a disgruntled Kevin Love, and so now you're Kevin Love. You have to think about the next step. Okay. So I would predict right now for Kevin Love. I would say he goes to a Western team, not an Eastern team. I'm putting some thoughts out there that the team that may choose Kevin Love will be the Portland Trailblazers.
That's the team that everyone's been talking about, but I'm not sure how that would work. I mean they're in contention for his signature, and he would be a good addition to their team, but I'm just not sure how it would fit.
Well, look, I think
because they've got Nurkic coming back from injury, they've got Carmelo who is shooting a lot, and and Kevin Love's a pure shooter. So,
look,
I'm not sure.
Ultimately, I'm thinking it'll be a 3-person deal. I think a 3-team deal. Sorry, I don't think it's just Portland and one team. I think it's Portland, another team, and another team that make a trade to get Kevin Love there, and somebody from Portland or some players from Portland will be moving on, because
I think Hassan Whiteside is out.
But I also think the thing about it is with Kevin Love is he's a great offensive player, but his defense isn't good, and he gets injured.
But you're losing.
So that's what you're getting.
As well as with Hassan Whiteside is a great defensive player, you're losing a big defensive stalwart on the other side of the ball. So thinking about that,
one other team to throw out there, my man. We'll say it over and over again. It's gotta be the Knicks. All right, let's not forget about the Knicks. The Knicks got pieces to give away. The Knicks will just be a yard sale.
Don't make me laugh.
It'll be a yard sale.
Don't make me laugh. Do you really think he wants to play for Dolan?
No. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't want to play for the Knicks. I'm saying the Knicks are going to start getting rid of pieces now to get some draft picks because they got nothing else. All right. So we're done with the trades talk right now?
Oh my God.
Let's move on. What's the next thing we're going to talk about?
So moving on from that, we're going to talk about the sign stealing scandal.
Oh, it's the Houston Astros.
Big. It's a big story.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, including the city of LA, have said that they want the MLB to strip the title from the Astros and give it to the Dodgers.
Okay.
My personal opinion on it, no. I don't think they should strip them of it. Mainly because you can't tell me, unless you have a DeLorean or unless you can 100% prove that their cheating was directly related to the Dodgers choking in that Game 5 and Clayton Kershaw maintaining his choking form in the playoffs. Unless you can directly prove that was the main cause of them losing that World Series, then I'll be on that side. But I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
I think they should put. They'll strip him of it, but I don't think they should give him to the Dodgers.
I think there hasn't been much murmurs about it since. Houston acted swiftly. The GM was gone. AJ Hinch, the manager, was fired. They have hired a new manager, and that's good old reliable Dusty Baker.
And what was bad for our team, the Mets, we hired Carlos Beltran, who was involved in it.
For 5 minutes, and Carlos Beltran's been fired. So, look, I think there's a lot to say about it. I don't think baseball is going to do any more moves as far as suspending players. If there is video of Jose Altuve hitting that home run against the Yankees, and as he's coming to home plate, he's telling the players not to rip his jersey, because the story is that Altuve had little beepers or a little mechanism underneath his jersey that he was getting signs from wherever on the field that they had spies out there. So it's something to consider.
Yeah.
But I don't think baseball's going to strip Houston of the championship.
I think
LA's just crying sour grapes because I agree with you.
Yeah.
They're 2 times a bridesmaid, never a bride. They went to the World Series not once but twice.
Yep. I
blew
agree
it.
with. Yep,
Okay?
I 100% agree with you. I agree.
I think at this point the jury's still out.
The jury's out on it.
Let's just wait and see what baseball does
Yeah.
now. It's spring training. Spring training about to start soon. So as time goes on, because we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but once the baseball season starts kicking off, we'll have a few thoughts about who we think is going to get back to the World Series this year.
Yeah. The problem with that though is here in Australia we have rugby league, which is another code of rugby, and there was a scandal with a team who went over the salary cap. They won two premierships in that time, and the NRL stripped them of it, but didn't give it to the opposition team who was in that grand final. I think that's what the MLB will do. I think they'll strip Houston of the World Series. They'll put an asterisk behind that World Series, but they won't give it to the Dodgers. I don't think that's the right call.
Okay, moving on.
The Super Bowl.
The
Super Bowl.
Thank God, no Patriots.
Yeah, no Patriots.
And I say amen to no more. Bill Belichick looking all angry and disheveled, sitting on the sidelines, looking at it with stupid pencil in the air. You got Tom Brady out there on his crutches going out there. No more. I think everybody's happy to see a little bit of change in the air.
I think first of all, I think, just for the record, we're both Giants fans. We're both sad Giants fans.
Very sad. We love to see season.
We love to see the Patriots fail.
Right.
And this is the coup d'etat for us.
It was perfect to watch the Patriots just fold like a cheap suit and go away.
Yeah.
But now we have probably 2 of the most potent offenses that you've seen, and I think it's going to be great. Hopefully, because the last 2 Super Bowls. Last year's Super Bowl was barely a scratch of a score.
Yeah.
And the year before, we're talking, the scores were actually better the year before when you had the Patriots against the Eagles.
In the Eagles, yeah.
And then the Eagles it was a high-scoring game. It was like Tecmo Bowl. So I think this season you have Kansas City with Chiefs with their quarterback, Pat Mahomes
is
against Jimmy G.
Jimmy
Garoppolo. And the potent 49ers defense.
Yeah.
So I think there's a few things that we need to unpack here.
Yeah.
I think one thing is going to be for me, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say that Kansas City has a chance of winning this. I think the score is going to be high. I think
it'll definitely be high.
I think it's going to be 38-32.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think the defenses are both going to be troubled. My concern for Kansas City is if the defense gives up the points they gave up in both the games against the Texans and the divisional game against Texans and the championships game.
That's going to be a concern.
The Titans, because if they fall behind, I don't see this 49er defense
emulating.
I don't see them backing down.
Yeah.
So
we saw that against the Packers, and I mean, if you watch that game, that was a laughing fest.
Right. I think how Kansas City probably gets on top against the 49ers, it's not going to be about the offense.
They need to hit them early.
It's the defense. The Kansas City defense has been very iffy.
Yeah, that's what
the run. Because remember, the 49ers ran the Packers out of the stadium.
Yeah, that's what I've been concerned about with this Kansas City team. Their offense is proven. I mean, you got guys like Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill leading the offense. But their defense, last season, it was god-awful. That was one of the key factors why they lost in that AFC Championship game against the Patriots.
Yeah, that and the cheesy
call.
And against Brady for
the roughing the passer call, and D Ford screwing up on the defensive end. But I think this year their defense has improved, not by much though. I don't really think their defense is improved by much.
All right.
So I'm gonna call it. I think if it's gonna be close, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be high scoring.
Don't sit on the fence. Just call it out.
I'm saying It's time. It's the 49ers.
49ers.
I'm saying the 49ers because there's something telling me that Kansas City's defense will eventually crack to Jimmy Jesus. They will have watched the Packers game. All they did is run the damn ball in that game. So I think Jimmy Jesus will be passing a lot and breaking up their defense. And once the score gets above 10, it's 49ers game to lose.
This is what I think. I think the one thing for San Francisco is going to be important is Jimmy G didn't throw for much. He didn't throw hardly anything last game. He threw maybe 14 times, if that. I think less than that. So whether or not Garoppolo is going to be rusty. Now, they're going to run, and they made no secret about it in the championship game. They ran for over 200 yards.
But you never know. That might have been something to psych out Kansas City.
Well,
you never know.
I think if Jimmy Garoppolo can keep a steady hand,
he can throw.
He can throw, but he needs to manage a game.
Yeah.
He's not a Patrick Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has a script of his own, and if Pat Mahomes get outside the pocket, he can run with the ball. He can throw 60 yards on the field.
He's dynamic. So
absolutely. I'll stick with Kansas City. You're sticking with 49ers.
I honestly, this is going to be...
We will see when we come back and reconvene in our show whether or not we got it.
This is going to definitely be a fun Super Bowl to watch, especially with parity now in the NFL for the first time in... Forever. For now, unless the Patriots... Unless the evil empire somehow rises from the ground.
Never ever count a team like them out.
But that's why I was not bullish on them choking in the playoffs because I told you before we started this series I wasn't sure that the Patriots were done. We were in America and I told you I'm not sure that the Patriots are done just yet, even though they lost to the Texans and warning signs were showing. Something in the back of my mind was saying it.
Okay, what's next?
But anyway, what else we have? Just touch on some NHL real quick. I know you don't know a lot.
That's not my good bag.
It's not your good bag, but I may as well report on it. With the NHL Trade Deadline, if you follow NHL quite a bit, you will know that the Devils this year are trash. They did a lot in the offseason signing PK Subban and keeping Taylor Hall happy. But this season, they are worst record in the NHL. Taylor Hall's been traded off to the Coyotes, who are looking like a dangerous team with the addition of Taylor Hall, and they already have Hot Dog Man. So I definitely think they can make noise in the playoffs, even though their team, a lot of their team is young and inexperienced. And another guy on the trade block in the NHL is Chris Kreider from the Rangers. Unfortunately, my team are punting this year, trying to build around Panarin. And yeah, it's unfortunate. But I think that does it.
One final note, just in case we forgot.
Yep.
Eli Manning Retirement.
Yep.
What do we think about that? I think it was...
It was inevitable.
I watched the press conference. It was pretty much typical Eli. It wasn't bells and whistles. It was just him saying he's out of here. Probably the best move ever because I don't think he really had much left in the tank.
For the Giants, they need to give time for Daniel Jones to develop.
And it's his team.
I was not happy when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones. I wasn't happy. I'll admit it. I saw the preseason. I wasn't bullish on him. I saw the season. He hasn't been terrible, but he needs to fix the fumbling habit.
But let's just call it what it is. Eli Manning, a very good career. I'd say definitely going to the Hall of Fame.
He'll take the gold jacket in Canada, of course. 2
MVP Super Bowl champion wins against the Patriots, who would have won 8 in a row.
One of the only guys to ever beat Brady twice.
Right. So look, if anything,
in the space of 6 years.
If anything, Manning brothers are kind of even. They both won 2 Super Bowls, so it's not like one can say one's better than the other. But look, that's it for our show.
Yep, that's it.
Thanks very much for your time, Junior.
Yep. And we will definitely do more of this in the future. We will reconvene after the Super Bowl. And enjoy your Super Bowl weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.